Seeing no other questions from the committee, I do have one, and you know what my pet peeve has been since I've been here. What public awareness efforts are you currently running with respect to the danger of distracted driving?
Many, and in fact, Director Kraft is behind me from the Office of Traffic Safety. I'm sure she can talk about a lot of those programs. But, Mr. Chairman, I think this what's really important, and I forgot to really mention that when I went through my quick introduction, is that many times people mistakenly believe that the California Highway Patrol is solely an enforcement agency, where our charge is to go out and enforce the provisions of law, which result in sanctions. And that's not, that doesn't do justice in the entire mission, because half the mission is all about the education. It's all about the training and the recognition that if people truly understand why they're asked to do certain things and they truly buy into that concept, we believe we can change behavior without the need for any enforcement. And so there is a list for distracted driving and DUI and speed and elderly driving and the youthful drivers, many programs that we try to employ. And we will go anywhere at any time to be able to deliver that to try to get changed behavior. But some of the programs that we have, the Start Smart program on distracted driving, very good program that we put into the high schools that we have out there. Impact Team Driving, which is another program that was actually started by the California Association of Highway Patrolmen, who started their own program because they felt so bad about going to accidents where young kids were killed in automobile accidents because of the distracting. And it's a program that they started, now going nationwide. And we could go on and on about those programs, but I think then, and thank you for the reminder, is half our mission is about the educational aspect versus just solely an enforcement aspect.
Well, I thank you, and I highly recommend to all our committee members. I've had the opportunity to ride along with our highway patrol in both my counties and for at least 10 hours each shift, and it is about customer service and not being punitive or giving tickets. It's being able to help the public, and I really do appreciate it. And I had firsthand knowledge of seeing this work, and so I really do appreciate what the Highway Patrol does for the motoring public. But also, a lot of you know that the CHP saved my daughter's life, and so that I'll forever be in debt. Well, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Thank you, Mr.
So with that, we are going to hear from Mr. Will Kempton, Executive Director of the California Transportation Commission. And Mr. Kempton is a dear friend of mine who I've known for many, many years. And Mr. Kempton, congratulations on your recent appointment to the CTC.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members. Will Kempton, Executive Director of the California Transportation Commission. Pleased to be here today to talk to you a little bit about the Commission. And I'd like to introduce you to Susan Branson, who is our Chief Deputy Director at the Commission and has been one of the 17 full-time members that we have working at the California Transportation Commission. I shouldn't say members, I should say people working at the California Transportation Commission, and has been a great help to me in this brief transition period that I have had. The California Transportation Commission was created in 1978 by combining a number of then existing boards and commissions into a single agency. And we've included in our packet, which we provided for your review so that you can kind of follow along and maybe take with you for reference, our mission statement. I won't read it. You can peruse it there. But suffice to say, the Transportation Commission has a very big role in oversight and management of the state's transportation program. We have 11 voting members on our commission. 9 are appointed by the governor. And we have 1 appointed by the Speaker of the Assembly and 1 appointed by the Senate Rules Committee. We also have 2 non-voting ex officio members. One is your chairman, Assemblymember Jim Frazier, and the other is the chair of the Senate Transportation and Housing Committee, Senator Jim Bell. Our role is varied, but I think it can be brought down to maybe 4 or 5 major points. First of all, we are an independent body that advises and assists the legislature and the Secretary of Transportation. So we have a dual role in terms of giving advice and input both on the administrative side of state government but also to the legislature. Our commission programs and funds, as well as allocates state and federal funds for transportation. We participate in the development of state and federal legislation, and we adopt policies to implement enacted laws. We have several responsibilities. I just want to go through them very briefly, and we can certainly talk in more detail about any of them either here or at your offices as you might prefer. We allocate funds, as I indicated, over $4 billion of state and federal transportation funds put to work in 2013-2014. Important aspect is the impact on our economy, not to mention the improvement in the movement of people and goods. We generated in excess of 92,000 jobs and over $5.8 billion in construction contracts. That's a huge impact on our state's economy. We adopt a variety of transportation programs, including the 5-year State Transportation Improvement Program, which focuses the investment of state and federal transportation funds. The SHOP, which is the State Highway Operations and Protection Program, which deals with taking care of the state highway system. We have a new program, the Active Transportation Program, for pedestrian and bicycle-type projects. We were actively engaged in the management and oversight of Proposition 1B. That's the 2006 initiative approved by the voters that programmed some $20 billion for transportation, almost $12 billion of which was put into capital investments for the program. We have several other programs that have been carried over from previous years that we look at. We set funding targets and investment priorities and performance objectives. We have some new responsibilities also in that regard in terms of SB 486 of last year, which sets up an asset management plan for the state's transportation system. We have been given responsibility for developing the framework of the Road Charge pilot program. That is a pilot program, developing the framework for that pilot program that looks at the possibility of a mileage-based user fee. We're calling it a road charge here in the state of California. We develop and adopt guidelines, and we've been charged with additional responsibilities under SB 486 in that regard for the new California Transportation Plan. The current plan that's under development will be adopted in 2015. We'll take a more active role for the new plan every 5 years in the 2020 plan. We approve right-of-way transactions. We approve public-private partnerships. And importantly, we annually report to the legislature at the end of the year. We provide a list of the accomplishments in the transportation program, but also key recommendations as to what we think the legislature might want to do with respect to the program. I think we have a number of challenges facing us jointly as we deal with this state's transportation program this year. First of all, the Commission in 2011 did a needs assessment, 10-year needs assessment, looking at the needs for investment in California over the 10-year period. We projected a very significant funding gap of about $296 billion. Whatever that number is, I think most of us would agree we have a significant need to invest in our infrastructure. Proposition 1B is over, and I think that program was effectively managed by the California Transportation Commission and I think efficiently delivered by Caltrans and the local agencies. It does show what we can do with appropriate accountability and transparency. Appreciate the legislature's involvement in the conduct of that program. It's done. Nearly $12 billion invested in transportation, but that money is now gone. And so any improvements that we saw in our system as a result of that investment, we are now once again on the downhill slide as our infrastructure continues to age and deteriorate. There is a decline of gas tax revenues for a variety of different reasons. Happy to talk about that in detail if you like. But in terms of the more fuel-efficient fleet that operates in California, as well as a decline in purchasing power for that source of revenue, we are not getting the support, the financial support we once did out of the gas tax. And the public is vitally concerned about the diversion of transportation revenues, which occurred over the past years of the budget crisis in the state of California. I think that problem is being dealt with, but that's still a concern on the part of the public that will have to be addressed. And then we don't see any state and federal solutions on the horizon yet, and that's where we look to work with you over the next year to see if we can't develop some solutions for this problem. In our annual report for 2014, while we made no specific recommendations, we did offer some suggestions for how our revenue picture might be improved. We suggested the potential of redirecting truck weight fees. We suggested the possibility of adjusting and indexing the gas tax for inflation. We talked about early loan repayments. The governor included in this year's budget $351 million of loan repayments for which we are very grateful. We talked about the cap and trade program. Over the long term, however, there are going to have to be some sustainable solutions, and we think that the road charge may provide an opportunity for us to find a more stable source of funding for transportation in the state. Also, congestion pricing and tolling may be opportunities to look at. On the reform side, it makes no sense that we would ask the public to pony up additional revenues without giving them assurances that their money is going to be well spent and that the program is going to be modernized. We're looking at strategic investments instead of just project-by-project investments. We're looking at multimodal corridor-based programming, looking at an entire corridor. How does it relate to that particular corridor? What's the best investment in terms of the multimodal options? We're looking at performance-based outcomes. What do people get for their investment? What's the return on that investment? We're going to be seeing some reforms in the State Transportation Improvement Program, most notably the interregional transportation portion of that program, the development of a strategic plan, and of course looking at approving the interregional transportation improvement program, which will be the first time that that element of the STIP's programming has been assigned to the Commission. Also on the shop side, I mentioned briefly the development of an asset management plan and looking at the investment that we make in repairing our roadways on a more strategic basis. Mr. Chairman and members, this completes my overview. I look forward to working with you over the coming year, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Mr. Dodd, you have questions?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair, and Will, thank you very much for the presentation. Of the $296 billion projected 10-year funding gap, is that deferred maintenance or is that projects as well, and then how would that break down if it was?
That was a complete analysis of all modes of transportation. Okay. It was a 10-year plan from 2011 to 2021. It included both preservation investments as well as new capacity.
Ms. Kim?
Mr. Campton, thanks for being here. Reading your mission statement, I know that this was adopted in May of 2010, but we know in 2012 your commission has transitioned from being an independent public agency into a transportation agency, so now you respond to the governor and the legislature. So I wanted to ask you if you had experienced any constraints in your independent thinking, and do you have any concerns during the transition period?
Well, of course, I don't think in the 3 weeks that I've been here, I haven't yet stumbled into any constraints. I will say that the legislation that placed the Transportation Commission under the State Transportation Agency did, in fact, guarantee the independence of the agency. I know my commissioners feel that they are independent in terms of the advice they provide to the legislature and to the administration. I have worked with the Secretary and with the Undersecretary over the years. I'm taking a very positive approach here. I haven't experienced any difficulties yet, but the Commission is vitally concerned, I shouldn't say concerned, but interested in maintaining their independence.
And on that note, Mr. Kempton, I do appreciate, being an ex officio member of the Commission, your guidance and counsel with all your years as Executive Director of Caltrans and OCTA and all the different areas that you've experienced through the transportation world. I can't think of a better person to be in this position to take us to another level. So I appreciate you willingly taking on this responsibility because we're going to put you to work.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. So on with our next, and again, thank you for your presence today. So we are going to move on to our, we'll hear from the Department of Motor Vehicles, and we have Director Shimoto here, and she is accompanied by Barbara Rooney, DMV's Legislative Director. And, thank you for joining us here today, Director Shimoto. Look forward to your presentation. Good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members. I'm Jean Chiamoto, the Director of the Department of Motor Vehicles, and I have here today with me Barbara Rooney, the Deputy Director of Legislation for Department of Motor Vehicles. I know a lot of you will be working with Barbara, your staff members. Thank you for the invitation to join you here today. We appreciate the opportunity for letting me familiarize the committee members with everything that we do at the Department of Motor Vehicles. So we also provided binders for you. I don't know if you've received them yet regarding information on the department. The Department of Motor Vehicle has more direct contact with California residents than any other single department. Many view DMV as the face of state government. So on January 2nd, the department implemented AB 60 and began licensing undocumented immigrants, a historic day for California and a significant undertaking for DMV. So I'd like to give you a brief update on some numbers of where we've accomplished in the last 26 days in the last month. We have served over 250,000 applicants since January 2nd, and over 39,000 AB 60 applicants will be getting licenses. DMV opened 4 driver's license processing centers in Lompoc, Granada Hills, Stanton, and San Jose for AB 60. We offer extended hours in 14 of our offices. These offices open at 7 a.m. in the morning. And we offer Saturday services in 60 offices, including the 4 temporary processing centers that we opened up. So on the first day, on January 2nd, we saw over 17,000 customers applying for an AB 60 license. On that day, we had long lines in many of our offices, so we made the decision to serve everyone in line outside the offices as of 5 p.m. So at the Granada Hills Processing Center, we served the last customer at 10:40 p.m., and our employees went home at 11:15 p.m. that night. We served everybody that was in line and all our offices outside the doors at 5 p.m. Normally, we close the doors and we serve everybody inside the lobbies. We had a lot of long lines and made the decision to provide customer service to all the customers that were waiting outside. And then our employees that worked on Saturday at the 60 offices, we opened our doors and began serving customers again the next day. The rollout has been successful for us, and we're very proud of what we've accomplished through that. But also, I'm pleased to share with you, in 2015, DMV is celebrating its centennial year. We are going to be 100 years old, and we have in your binders our new handbook, the 2015 Driver Handbook, and it commemorates the 100 years of DMV. We're very proud of that. But also, I'd like to also share that we recognize our responsibility to provide the highest level of customer service to ensure that vehicles are registered and drivers are licensed. So some facts and figures about DMV. Our budget is about $1.1 billion, and we're primarily funded through 3 fund sources: the motor vehicle account, the state highway account, and the vehicle license fee account. We have a budgeted staff of about 9,000 employees statewide. About 4,400 are in the field, and about 4,600 are at headquarters in Sacramento. So in 2014, we handled approximately 27 million customer transactions at the 174 field offices for driver's license and vehicle registration transactions. We annually collect about $7.5 billion in revenue that is dispersed to local government, the California Highway Patrol, the General Fund, Caltrans, and other agencies. We have 4 core main business programs: the driver's license identification card program, the vehicle titling and registration program, the driver safety program, and the licensing and regulating the motor vehicle industry. So in 2014, 27.9 million Californians held a California driver's license or identification card, and 33 million registered vehicles in California. So California has the most licensed drivers and the most registered vehicles in all the states and the District of Columbia. We also issue disabled placards, personal license plates, and we oversee 12 special editions license plate program. And this spring, we'll be issuing the new legacy license plate, the new black and yellow plates that was sponsored by Assemblymember Gatto. And we're on track to issue that this spring. We also have our driver safety program that we promote traffic safety by monitoring licensed drivers. We license the motor vehicle industry to promote consumer protection. In addition to our core functions, we have a number of additional responsibilities. We collect monies such as parking fines, use tax, air quality, different fees for the counties at the local level. We ensure smog and vehicle insurance compliance. We obtain organ donation information for the organ donor program. And we partner with Donate Life. They are a main partner of ours, and in 2014, 12 million people signed up for the donor tissue registry, and we are on track by this April to have reached 13 million more people altogether on the organ donor tissue registry. We also issue high-octane vehicle stickers to low-emission vehicle owners. And we also maintain service delivery levels for our customers. You can visit us by coming to the field office. You can mail in your information. We have the internet. We have offer services 24/7. We have 3 call centers. And we also have business partners such as auto clubs and business partners. And for California, we're very proud that we set the trend in customer service among the DMVs. We're a recognized leader among the other DMVs in the nation. And we have a number of customer service innovations that I'd like to share with you. In today's climate, people like to be 24/7 customer service, and so we offer online services. Many of you have done that. You can renew your registration online, you can renew your driver's license online, change your address, a number of things like that. In 2014, California has conducted more than 14 million transactions online through our online services. That's a 4% increase over 2013, and since we started this 5 years ago, that's a 49% increase in how customers like to do business with DMV. We also have 50 self-service terminals in our offices where customers can renew their vehicle registration without having to visit an agent at the window and not having to wait in line. We have message boards in 83 of our field offices, and that provides information on DMV. We have some of the questions on our knowledge tests. We give information on the weather, local news, and paid advertisements so that our customers, while they're waiting, they have information that they can see while they're waiting. In 2014, we installed touchscreen terminals in 150 of our field offices. So we moved from the paper written test to an automated knowledge test that's touchscreen. So if you know how to do video poker or use your iPhone, you can start tapping that screen and get through the questions. This automated test is available in English and Spanish, and later this year we're working to have the test available in other languages. We also have, if you have a smartphone, we have an application that you could download. It's called DMV Now, and it gives you a lot of information how to find, excuse me, a field office, our average wait times, directions to any of our offices, and we have samples of our knowledge tests and different videos that we have on YouTube. And also, we're very proud that we created the DMV Answer Man. And we have 6 videos that have different information on how to do business with DMV, how to do a car registration, how to renew your driver's license. It's very interactive, and we won awards for that. And just last year, we did the same thing. We did the Spanish version of the DMV Answer Man called El Sabe Todo. And we've done 3 so far, and we hope to create altogether 8 to 10 of this series and get that out to the Spanish community. And both these videos were produced internally by our own staff. So for DMV, we're very proud that we continue to innovate and be a recognized leader in public service because customer service is what we're all about. So I thank the committee for allowing me to be here and give you an update on DMV.
Thank you. Any committee members have questions? Ms. Kim?
I've heard nothing but good things about your customer service.
Thank you.
And so congratulations for that. And especially kudos to you and all your staff that handle those thousands and thousands of applications related to implementation of AB 60. Despite your efforts to service everybody and working through the night, my office in the district office has received some, calls from the constituents complaining about the slowness of the applicants. In that, I mean, that's a real, it's a softball. It's not a criticism or anything, but I'm happy to go back and tell them about the services that you actually implemented on your own. I mean, you didn't have to do it and have your staff stay until 11 o'clock at night. But this information is not getting out. So if there is any way the members' offices can share this with our respective district and constituents, we'll be happy to do it. Just a couple questions. Online registration, you talked about vehicle license registration, right? Now, does it extend to AB 60 applicants in terms of their driver's license?
For renewal?
Online.
Online. So for an original driver's license, which AB 60 applicants are applying, you have to come to the field office and submit your proper identity document, residency document. So anytime first-time driver, AB 60, coming in from California, out-of-state residents, or 16-year-old trying to get your license first, you have to make that in-person visit to a field office.
Glad to hear it. I just wanted to confirm that. Right. Softball question. congratulations on celebrating 100 years. Any activities planned throughout the year?
We do have some planned. I still need to, I am remiss in getting to that. We've been a little bit busy. We do have a committee planning some functions. We're looking at, we have a logo and we have a slogan. We're looking at some merchandise that employees can purchase. We have some T-shirts and things like that. And we are planning some events at our headquarters to celebrate that, trying to do it quarterly. We have some things that we have planned quarterly. First is registration, then it's going to be driver's licensing, things like that. So we've got a lot planned. We just haven't been able to get through it yet.
Any possibility of partnering with members' offices in the district?
Definitely. One of the things that we like to do is include 174 field offices. They don't always get to participate. We do at headquarters, but we definitely have a field office component where the offices definitely like to do. We do Wednesday morning training every morning from 8 to 9, and the offices would definitely like to be recognized. So we'll take that back.
Thank you.
You're welcome.